Who's here? Who is here? Is it the one I love? Or is it someone else? Well, let me reload this page real quick. Here's my baby. It's my baby here. If it is someone, other than, wait, I don't know. My eyes, my brain, not my eyes. I think it's my baby. It's my baby here. Okay, let me do the thing I wanted to do. Well, let me have that. Put that there. Put that there. Okay, let me do. Okay, I'm gonna do some ASL because I've been wanting to. I forgot about it.
Hello, my name is Victoria and I teach American Sign Language at Take Lessons. Do you want to learn some of the best sign language phrases for beginners? After this lesson, you'll be able to make conversation more easily with the few greetings, icebreakers, and common questions to ask. So keep watching and don't forget to check out our free online ASL classes. So here are some common greetings that we can sign in ASL. So there's a few that we can go through. Number one is hello. Our second one is going to be one that we use mainly just to get someone's attention. Perhaps they're across the room from us and they're not looking directly at us. This word is hey. All it is basically waving your hand. Our third greeting is what's up. So let's talk about some introduction phrases that you can use when you meet someone who uses sign language.
That's a zero.
First, my name is. So we don't have a sign for the word is, so it's just going to be my name. My name. So you're taking the hand shape of the letter H. One is going directly on top of the other and tapped twice. Name. My name. And then you finger spell your name. So for example, another introductory phrase that you can use is nice to meet you. The way we're going to learn this is nice, nice. Your dominant hand is on the top, sliding across, nice. And then meet you is going to be one entire sign. So one finger, your dominant index finger, is going to go close to you, one directly in front of you. This is representing you and the individual you're talking to. You is going to move forward like you are meeting the person. So that's nice to meet you. Our third phrase is going to be I am learning sign. This is a great phrase to use in your introduction so that whoever you're speaking to is aware that you're not deaf yourself and that you are still learning. So they'll slow down and be patient with you and your signing. So this is I am learning sign. I, pointing to yourself. learn. It's like you're taking information from a book and putting it into your head. And then sign. I'm learning sign. So now we're going to talk about some questions you can ask when you're meeting someone. First, what's your name? It's important to note that since these are questions, our question words are going to go at the end of our sentence. So instead of what's your name, we're going to say your name what. So it'll look like this. Your flat palm towards the person you're talking to.
No, it's hey.
Name.
Someone across the room, hey.
What?
And then they come up to you. Hello.
Remember that if you're asking a question, you want to lean forward, your eyebrows should come down since you are expecting an actual response. So now we're going to talk about where are you from, how to sign that.
So you lean someone over, do this thingy, then you go hello or whatever, and then you go my name is Logan. I don't know what that is. It's probably like something like that. And then it's nice to meet you. Wait, I'm learning sign. Yeah, there you go.
So you're going to point you what? Question words are going to go at the end of our sentence. I'm learning sign. So now we're going to talk about some questions you can ask when you're meeting someone. First, what's your name? It's important to note that since these are questions, our question words are going to go at the end of our sentence. So instead of what's your name, we're going to say your name what. So it'll look like this. Your flat palm towards the person you're talking to. Name what?
Your name.
Remember that if you're asking a question, you want to lean forward, your eyebrows should come down since you are expecting an actual response.
Wait, what?
So now we're going to talk about where are you from, how to sign that. So you're going to point you from. So remember, the moving finger is always going to be from your dominant hand. This one is going to pull directly from your non-dominant. So remember, the moving finger is always, where are you from? How to sign that. So you're going to point you from. So remember, the moving finger is always going to be from your dominant hand. This one is going to pull directly from your non-dominant index finger. So you from where? All this is your index finger moving from side to side. Where? You from where? Where are you from? Our next one is how are you? This is our exception to the rule that all question words go at the end of your sentence. Here, it's one fluid motion. That's why it can be an exception. How are you? How are you? So both fists together, your dominant hand moves out to you. How are you? So let's talk about how you can answer those questions. So we did talk about it earlier, but my name is, again, is my name, and then finger spelling your name. If the question is, where are you from? All you're going to do is say, me or I, pointing to yourself, from, and then finger spell the city or state you are going to answer with.
Okay.
I'm
Julio Binzo. I'll continue.
from, plus the finger spelling. If you are asked, how are you? A very common and easy way to respond is, I'm fine. So here's how we would do it in ASL. All you're doing is you're making a 5. Your thumb is going to go in the center of your chest and tap twice. I'm fine. So here are 3 really good signs to know if you want to show good manners while you're signing. So number 1 is please. Please. Just the flat hands again on your chest in a circle. Please.
Please?
Number 2 is thank you.
Yeah.
So you're going to make a flat hand, but your fingers are going to stay connected. Goes on your chin, goes forward.
Yeah, I knew that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Liam, my nephew, does
And lastly, excuse me.
Thank you. Thank you.
All you're doing
Well, he
here
doesn't like
is you're taking your non-dominant hand. Your dominant hand is going on top, kind of like an arch, and sliding forward. Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Let's talk about some phrases you might want to use to break the ice in your conversations. So first, what is your favorite blank? Color, movie, etc. So let's take the phrase, the basic phrase, your favorite, the middle finger on your chin, tap twice in the center, your favorite blank, what? So let's say, for example, we were asking, what's your favorite movie? It would look something like this.
Hey,
It would look something like this.
wait.
Another great phrase to ask is, what's your favorite movie? It would look something like this.
Movie, what?
Another great phrase to ask is, what do you like to do?
Makes sense.
So we can say, you, pointing, like. So your thumb and your middle finger are going to start in the center of your chest, pull out, so like you're pulling from your heart. Like, what do?
You.
What do? It's like you're pinching with your thumb and index finger. What do? You like what do? Another great conversational phrase.
Hold on. the bed together. Oh yeah, got all the blankets. Mm-hmm. I love you. Mm-hmm.
You've got enough to think about maintaining. Good thing the all-new 2022 Volkswagen Taos.
So I was looking for surfer, what's this one? Surfer. Yeah, she's like rattling. There's a lot of surfers like running to the beach right now, so there's a lot of people outside. Even though it's raining, so many people are out. And we got some sandwiches and coffee. I got some coffee. Yeah. I never really thought about that before. Which, thank you guys. You guys always ask the best questions. It just makes me think. Like, there's another surfer. Java, shh. No barking. So I got him a Dijon mustard ham sandwich. I got their pure sandwich. Oh, one. I know, that sandwich is really good. So when we started dating, we didn't really have to communicate in the dark because we were, teenagers living with our parents and we weren't left alone in the dark. And we would hang out in my room, and my room had these like Christmas lights strung up. So even though it was dark outside, those were always on. So we could always see each other clearly to communicate. But, when we moved in together, we would go sleep and the lights would turn off. We can communicate when the lights are off, and how we do that is by touch. So, and usually it's just very simple, like, I love you. Just, I love you. Love you. And then I do this too. Yeah, I do this where I go do the love you sign, and then I go like this, and then I squeeze it with these hands. So he can tell, okay, it's the I love you sign. And he does that to me too. Not on my boobs, but on my arm. It has to be like pitch black dark. Well, didn't when we moved in, before we moved in together, you would sleep with the light on. Like sometimes we would go to sleep and the light would still be on. That's something I had to learn and accept because we were on like total opposite ends of the spectrum. Like I liked it completely dark. He liked the light on. We had to come to a compromise and
I ain't felt this good in a minute. Own it. I ain't gonna rent it. It feel like it's dark.
we agreed that we would have a night light, which I got used to pretty quickly.
Too fast up.
But he also tends to go to sleep after I sleep. So, yeah, so he keeps the light on. Like, our bed will have two nightstands. Yeah, so his side will be on, and I couldn't sleep for a really long time, so I had to use a sleeping mask to block out the light. Recently, I stopped using the eye mask, and it's all good. Like I can sleep, but some nights Ryan will go to sleep and forget to turn off the light. I'll wake up at 2 in the morning, sometimes 4 in the morning, and Ryan has the light on, and he has his phone like this, or his phone's on his face, or he has the computer. He's like this. He just falls asleep doing whatever he does. And I don't understand that because I'm like, I need to close everything, put my sleep mask on, or get ready for bed, take my glasses off, and lay down and go to sleep. Like, that's the only way I fall asleep. But he'll fall asleep anywhere or doing anything, and he'll leave the light on. So that does kind of ruin my sleep, and we're trying to work on that right now, right? You're not old. He says he's old, but you're not old. You're still young.
Who else is here? Hello. Why? What? What was that noise? Who is here? You can, if you have if you can comment. Oh, back to 2. Interesting. Gotta learn it. Love you.
Meet Grammarly, the digital writing assistant that helps students create effective writing that delivers.
Welcome to Audit the Audit, where we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers racial profiling, unreasonable searches, and solicited confessions, and comes to us from the Iowa Citizens for Community Improvements channel. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve. Let's dive right in and audit the interaction. On July 15th, 2018, 23-year-old Montre Little and 21-year-old Jared Clinton were leaving a local park where they were stopped by Officer Kyle Thies of the Des Moines Police Department in Des Moines, Iowa.
What's going on, guys?
Not much.
What's up? Is this your car?
Well, it's a rental right now. My car's been shot.
Okay. Did something break down?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. You guys just came from over at the park, right?
Yeah, we're just hanging out.
That's it?
Well, that's what
Is this your car?
I just told you my car's been shot, obviously. This is a rental.
Okay. How do you start it?
What do you mean? I just put my foot on the brake and I put it in drive and I
Okay.
drive, obviously.
Officer Thies' seemingly innocent question is much more tactical and accusational than it initially appears. Asking about starting the vehicle gives Officer Thies important clues about Mr. Little's relationship with the vehicle. If Mr. Little isn't familiar with the process for starting the car, it could insinuate to the officer that he may have stolen the vehicle. Likewise, if Mr. Little fumbles or acts erratically while answering the question, it could insinuate that he is inebriated. Either one of those scenarios could provide Officer Thies with reasonable suspicion to investigate further. Luckily, Mr. Little did not act erratically and seemed familiar with starting the vehicle. However, Officer Thies' question still segued into an additional question, which ultimately results in Mr. Little surrendering his keys to the officer.
So it's your car, though? Did they give you a fob or something?
My car, officer.
Did they give you a key fob or something? Or
Yes, sir. Officer.
like, what does it do? Does it?
You see, that should let you know that it's in.
Okay. Do you have any weapons on you or in the car?
No, officer.
Okay, can I be honest with you? It smells like marijuana in the car, and I can see shake on the ground. And your buddy's giving me the idea that maybe he's got a gun.
The smell of marijuana is often used by police officers as probable cause to bypass the consent to search that is typically required from the driver of the vehicle. I have made a video that discusses the smell of marijuana and its relationship to probable cause in more detail that I will link in the info card above. It is important to note the speed at which Officer Thies draws his conclusions. Officer Thies hasn't even asked Mr. Little for his ID yet, but he has already concluded that the smell of marijuana is present, there is marijuana shake on the ground, and that Mr. Clinton has a gun hidden on his person only 2 minutes into the interaction. Officer Thies goes on to admit that he is basing his accusation about the gun purely on a personal hunch.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what I think.
How?
I don't know. Just the way. I mean, just the way you're holding yourself, man. Like, that's why we're nervous, man. That's it. I mean, if you're scared because you got a little bit of weed, that'll be one thing.
Officer,
Okay.
there's no weed.
Okay.
There's no shake on the floor.
Okay. So there's no shake on the floor.
Officer,
Okay. All right. And you don't have any weapons on you, you said?
officer, that is correct.
Okay. Do you have your ID on you?
My brother's been pulled over multiple times for doing that for me. I live in Des Moines to go to work. I don't like doing that.
Okay. You ain't got no weapons on you? Go ahead and step out, Montre. Yep, I just told you why. 3 times. You want me to recap again?
Officer, look, my hands is up.
Yep, your hands are up, and now I'm asking you to step out of the car.
I gave you my ID.
You gave me your ID.
Go run it.
Yep, I don't want to. I'm not walking away from this car.
Officer, can I ask you why?
Yep, because I just told you. Step out of the car. If you don't want to go to jail, I would expect you to please listen. I mean, I told you I'm a cop. Face the car when you step out. Face the car when you step out. Face the car when you step out. Don't flex. Don't flex. I don't know what you're doing, man, but you need to knock that off. Stop pulling on your arms. What's going on, dude? What are you doing, dude?
Officer, I'm not doing nothing to you.
Okay. Well, you're making me think something funny's going on, man.
Come on, man.
You're not under arrest. You're like pulling away like you're gonna do something silly. And I don't want that. What?
Nothing.
I'm not even gonna. Okay, well you're not under arrest, man. We're just trying to figure out what's going on.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so slide over here. I mean, your heart is thumping, dude. Like you're beaten.
Officer, please don't.
Don't what? Have a seat. Have a seat. I think that your buddy has a gun, so I need you to step into the car.
You think my buddy has a gun?
He's acting funny. Step in the car, please.
Officer,
if you don't step in the car, you're going to jail for sure.
Okay, that's
So
fine.
step in the
Officer.
car.
With Zillow 360, you can buy, sell, and finance in one glorious low-stress bundle.
How old are you, Montre?
March 25th, 1995.
You supposed to be drinking in the park there?
Officer, that's just in there, okay? There was no gun, there was no weapon to harm you, officer. We didn't do anything wrong. We stopped at the stoplight. We pulled over when you...
Stop was never made public, and Mr. Little makes a valid point. Based purely on the information in the video, there doesn't appear to be any valid reason for a traffic stop. The tag, registration, and functions of the vehicle must have been valid, considering that the car is a rental, and it would appear as if Officer Thies was unaware that there was an open container in the car, because he had to search the vehicle in order to find it, and he made no mention of it to Mr. Little at the beginning of the video. Leaving a park is hardly a crime and certainly does not justify a traffic stop. Many aspects of this stop are based purely on the speculations of Officer Thies, and it is reasonable to assume that the stop itself was based on a hunch.
If I take them handcuffs off you, can you dump out that bottle of alcohol for me?
I can do it anytime, officer.
Is that good?
Yeah, of course it is.
You good? We straight? Okay, so here's the deal, like, you and I know, I mean, let's start over. Let's roll with each other. Did I make anything up when I said the car smelled like marijuana?
Yeah, a little bit. Hold on. Because there was nobody smoking in the car.
Is there marijuana shake on the floor of the car?
Officer, that was cigarette ash, okay? You didn't find no marijuana.
I'm not charging you with marijuana. But here's what.
Saved him from being charged with a crime. The 1969 Supreme Court case of Frazier v. Cupp affirmed the legality of deceptive interrogation tactics and essentially granted officers the authority to lie in the line of duty. Law enforcement officers often use the Frazier ruling to their advantage by pretending to be friendly and lenient in order to solicit a confession from their suspects. No matter what an officer says, it is never in anyone's best interest to admit anything to a member of law enforcement under any circumstances. The Fifth Amendment protects citizens from answering questions without legal counsel present, and the right to remain silent is a powerful tool that every citizen should be aware of and invoke when necessary.
Okay, so you want me to just write you the ticket for the stuff that I had to write you tickets for? If you think that I'm lying, then we'll go to court and we'll talk about it then.
Okay.
Or do you want to just be real with me and I'll be real with you?
Officer.
Right?
I would like to pull out my alcoholic reactions, officer. You didn't find anything. We wasn't doing anything, officer.
Okay. So you're not going to admit that you maybe were around people smoking or something like that?
Officer.
Were you around anybody smoking?
Cigarettes.
That's it.
Officer, there's no recheck on the floor, officer.
All right. Step out. Raise the car.
Officer Thies gets an F for racially profiling Mr. Little and Mr. Clinton, violating their constitutional rights, and using shady police tactics in an attempt to solicit a confession for a crime that did not exist. Officer Thies was involved in a separate incident earlier in 2018, which resulted in a civil rights case being brought against him with elements of racial profiling at the forefront of the accusations. That lawsuit is still ongoing. The Des Moines Register reported that Thies was responsible for 253 arrests in 2017, with about half of those arrested being African American. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, only 11% of Des Moines residents identify as Black or African American. Mr. Little and Mr. Clinton both get an A for remaining calm during the interaction, resisting the coercion tactics of Officer Thies by refusing to admit guilt, and following up this encounter with legal action. Members of the Des Moines Police Department have been featured in 2 other videos on my channel, and it seems that the department...
What time is it? I think I'm gonna go to bed, but I'm pretty sure it's you, so... yeah. Pretty tired. I did do... What did... Right after I got off with you, I had to do something earlier. Or I had to do dishes, and I had to make a shake that I had to talk about some stuff, and I did that, and yeah, that's why it took so long.
Made your choice?
Get 5G coverage that goes yard. T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, most reliable 5G network.
I love being with people. It's the most incredible thing in the world.
What are you doing? Oh, this is nice.
That world may change and evolve. But the one thing that will never change, we're all part of one big family. That man next to you, he's your brother. That woman over there, she's your sister.
Higher, further, faster, baby. That's right.
We're all part of one universe that moves ever upward and onward to greater glory.
On your left.
But I'm done running from my past. We have unfinished business.
Who's we?
When you love something, you fight for it.
We're the ones who changed everything.
Cool. All of those were coming in the next 4 years. 4 years. It's crazy. Khan the Conqueror.
Let me look at you before you change.
In theaters July 23rd.
You came to fight me, Avengers?
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at the origins of Kang the Conqueror.
Launch scarabs! Destroy them! You are part of the problem, not the solution.
For this video, we'll be diving into the comic backstory of this time-traveling supervillain and how he might become a bigger threat on screen in the upcoming years. And if you're not caught up with Loki on Disney+, beware of a few spoilers ahead. Which of these Kang facts surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. Before gaining a reputation as a notorious conqueror, Kang was born in the 31st century as Nathaniel Richards. There were also hints that he was born as a distant relative to Mr. Fantastic and Dr. Doom. While Nathaniel's true lineage is hard to figure out, we know that he eventually became bored with the utopian society of the year 3000. Nathaniel shook things up by building a time machine and traveling back to ancient Egypt. He used his futuristic tech to rule as a pharaoh named Rama-Tut. Nathaniel was enjoying his reign until the Fantastic Four arrived in ancient Egypt and forced him to retreat in this time machine. But he didn't end up returning to the peaceful year 3000. Nathaniel briefly became a villain named Scarlet Centurion, tried to manipulate the Avengers, and met up with his possible ancestor, Dr. Doom. When he tried to return to his own time, he accidentally ended up in the middle of a violent war in the 40th century fought on a ruined Earth. The people in this futuristic society had somehow lost the knowledge of how to use their advanced weapons. Nathaniel took advantage of this fact and used his smarts and all the future artillery to build a massive army. In less than a month, he was ruling over this war-torn Earth and more under the name Kang the Conqueror. Although Kang was virtually unstoppable in the 40th century, he wanted to conquer Earth when it was younger and greener. So, he went back in time to the 20th century. Kang almost immediately fought the Avengers after he arrived. His tech was powerful enough to overwhelm and capture Iron Man, Thor, Cap, and Giant Man. Fortunately, Wasp escaped and found a gun that could stop Kang. Her quick thinking and the combined efforts of the heroes were enough to send Kang running. However, the villainous conqueror refused to quit. Kang tried several big schemes to conquer the 20th century before he returned to the future and fell for a princess named Ravonna Renslayer. But the royal refused his request for marriage. Kang tried to win her over by bringing the Avengers into the future and beating them up in front of her. However, they eventually sided with Ravonna against Kang. Although the heroes lost, the Conqueror decided to let the princess go. But when a general got angry at this show of mercy and tried to attack Kang, Ravonna sacrificed herself to save him. This tragedy continued to haunt Kang as he continued his conquests. The Conqueror eventually ended up in a limbo dimension outside of time and discovered computers that allowed him to see across the timeline. When Kang saw the point in time where Ravonna was about to perish, he pressed a button that saved her and brought her to his location in Limbo. But since she wasn't there to protect him from harm in that reality, a new timeline was created where the Conqueror died that day. Kang realized that his time-traveling actions caused a bunch of new timelines and variants of himself to exist all at once. Now he'd have to deal with the Avengers and countless versions of himself if he wanted to conquer anything. After causing trouble in plenty of comics and animated works in the 20th century, Kang will finally be adapted to live action here in the 21st century. Loki's first season introduced us to characters that are historically tied to the villain in the comics, like Alioth and Ravonna.
You had a link with the variant. I want you to tell me what drives her.
The show also introduced a variant of Kang himself in the finale.
Come on, let's talk.
And it's strongly hinted that there's going to be more than one version of the villain out in the timelines. Kang is set to take center stage as a main antagonist again in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Saving his full cinematic debut for the bug-themed Avenger duo is fitting for two reasons. Ant-Man has the most experience with the quantum realm that made time travel possible. Kang would have a lot to discuss with him. And since Wasp was instrumental in one of the Conqueror's earliest defeats, it would be great to see her beat him again.
Interesting that your head would go to that.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for intelligence and dangerous future tech have made him a powerful enemy over the years. He's been able to defeat Avengers with ease and create new branches in reality. Now that Thanos has been snapped away, there's plenty of room for a new big bad to enter and attempt to take over the universe. It feels like now is the perfect time for Kang to try to conquer the MCU.
Feels like a fresh start.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from Watch Mojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be
Phase 5.
Tonight's top story, missing teenager Kate Wallace.
She was so happy.
Why are you trying to destroy us?
I am not the destroyer.
Hey everyone, I'm Rebecca and welcome to Watch Mojo. Today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 MCU villains being set up for Phase 5.
There will always be nightmares. It's part of who we are. But when we face them, we can overcome and be stronger for it.
The only lies I've told are the ones you put in my mouth.
Careful.
An abomination.
For this list, we're looking at past comic storylines and the history of the Marvel Cinematic Universe to guess what antagonists might be threatening our heroes in the future. Because some of these clues are tied to major events, spoiler alert is now in effect. So, what Marvel villain do you want to see next? Be sure to let us know in the comments. Alright, let's get into it. Number 10, Mephisto. When WandaVision was rolling out weekly episodes, many fans speculated the demonic Mephisto was the main villain. Despite a few promising hints and a comic connection to Wanda, he wasn't the villain she had to worry about.
The name's Agatha Harkness. Lovely to finally meet you, dear.
But Mephisto has been tied to many heroes in the comics. The demon has a particularly interesting connection to Moon Knight. In one storyline, the lunar anti-hero got visions of Mephisto ending the world. So Moon Knight stole the powers from different Avengers to defeat the demon. We know that Oscar Isaac is playing the character in an upcoming Disney Plus series. Once they establish his backstory and abilities in Phase 4, he could steal other people's powers to fight Mephisto in Phase 5. Number 9, The Leader. Samuel Stearns was first introduced as Bruce Banner's ally in 2008's The Incredible Hulk. But after a lab accident with gamma-irradiated blood, he began to look like the kind of villain The Leader. Since he typically has massive intelligence and various psychic abilities, he could be a big threat to the Avengers going forward. Although we haven't seen Stearns on screen in years, another Hulk antagonist is hinting at his return. Emil Blonsky, aka The Abomination, first appeared in the same film. We know for certain he'll appear in the She-Hulk Disney Plus series and the upcoming Shang-Chi film.
You got this.
Thank you.
If a major Hulk villain can show up in multiple places, then it's not hard to believe that Banner's old ally can return as well. Number 8, Dr. Victor Von Doom. Once Marvel announced a Fantastic Four film was on the horizon, they pretty much confirmed that we would see Dr. Doom.
You want it back? Come and get it.
This legendary antagonist is one of the super team's oldest enemies. Doom has also appeared in video games, numerous animated shows, and every single live-action Fantastic Four movie that's been released.
This is gonna be fun.
It's incredibly unlikely they'd leave him out of the new adaptation. Although Dr. Doom was introduced as a Fantastic Four foe, he has the resources and power to take on heroes like the Avengers. We can easily see Earth's mightiest heroes meeting the MCU's Doom within the next few years.
Is that the best you can do?
Number 7, Galactus. Speaking of the Fantastic Four, they're
Silver
also
Surfer.
famous for doing battle with Galactus. This cosmic being is known for having a huge appetite that can only be satisfied by consuming the energy of planets.
My people called it Galactus, the devourer of worlds. It must feed on energy to survive.
Between the incredible might Galactus wields and his world-destroying tendencies, he could easily surpass Thanos as the universe's biggest threat.
Take joy in the last few hours you have left, for he is nearly here.
While the cosmic villain debuted in a Fantastic Four story, he also shares a connection with another famous Marvel character. The Eternal Thena went on a mission to find Galactus so he could defeat the Kree. Whether she wakes him to fight a threat or the villain faces the Fantastic Four, his arrival feels inevitable. Number 6, Nightmare. A demon named Nightmare will have you afraid to close your eyes. Originally hailing from the dream dimension, he can imprison a being's astral form and torment them.
Too late for that, little spider. I caught you when the good doctor's sleeping on the job. And now the world belongs to Nightmare.
There have been several hints of Nightmare lurking in the background. On Loki, Mobius appears to make a reference to the villain's name.
This place is a nightmare.
That's another department. Now that department I'll help you burn down.
And although Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. might not be canon, it definitely introduced the concept of a dream dimension. Doctor Strange may stumble upon that dimension during the Multiverse of Madness. And since Nightmare is one of his oldest foes, the villain's reign of terror over dreams could accidentally begin thanks to the Sorcerer Supreme.
Nightmare? This whole thing has been a dream.
Number 5, Norman Osborn. After Skrulls infiltrate S.H.I.E.L.D., the government starts a new security organization called Hammer.
Track the pod to find the girl. She knows more than she knows.
This may not happen in the upcoming Secret Invasion Disney Plus series, but if it does, the first director of this agency has historically been Norman Osborn. This iconic villain is best known for tormenting Spider-Man as the Green Goblin.
Can Spider-Man come out to play?
Since Osborn hasn't been introduced in the MCU yet, he could make a grand entrance as a powerful government figure. Considering there's plenty of people who don't trust the MCU's S.H.I.E.L.D., the public may want him to glide in and protect them with Hammer.
Fine. No problem. I'll make a few calls. No, I couldn't accept it, sir.
Number 4, Chthon. Since Chthon is an elder god who can warp reality with his powers, the MCU's Avengers will want to stay out of his way. Unfortunately for them, he may have already started indirectly messing with the world. Chthon historically creates a powerful book of spells known as the Darkhold. The last person who read this dangerous magical tome in the MCU was Wanda Maximoff. In one story, Chthon possesses her body and tries to use her powers to come to Earth. Scarlet Witch has grown into an incredibly powerful magic user over the last few years. The Avengers would be in for the fight of their lives if Chthon stopped indirectly causing chaos with the Darkhold and actively got a hold of Wanda. Number 3, Zemo's Thunderbolts. There was a time in the comics where it looked like Earth had lost most of its heroes, and Baron Zemo saw this lull as the perfect time to organize a super team of his own. Although his crew, composed mostly of villains, pretended to be a force for good, they originally had evil intentions. The MCU's Zemo definitely has the intelligence and financial resources to pull together a Thunderbolts crew.
We have to stay in character. Our lives depend on it. There's no margin for error.
And although there are Avengers on Earth, they don't exactly seem to be holding regular meetings nowadays. Zemo could take advantage of this low point for the MCU's Avengers to introduce his Thunderbolts. While he is being held in the Wrapped prison, he has orchestrated impressive feats behind bars before.
It was going to be different. No clunky machine.
Okay, I'm done. I'm about passing out. Okay. I love you, baby. You sleep good. Sweet dreams. Good night. If it is, yo, appreciate it. Okay. Bye bye. I'm stopping the stream because I need to get in bed because my eyes are shutting. I can't keep them open. So.